Hello, we are going to pick up where the last video left off. So right now we understand what a method is. We kind of explained the parts, and now let's go ahead and make one because they're really not that hard. So I am going to do this. Let's go ahead and we're going to start it right here because I tend to not like to do methods before we've initiated or declared anything. So I am going to create my own one, and I am going to call it Say Hello. And as you can see, I have not made it look anything like the header that we did before. So Say Hello is really just a method call. That means it's going to say, go do this method right now. In fact, do not pass go, create a string. In fact, I am going to bring this up here just to keep it in line. It says, do not go down and initialize test 1 and 2. Don't do the try and catch statement. Do this first, and when you're done with this method, then come back and do the rest of this stuff. And we'll clean this up. It's getting really messy, but actually, believe it or not, this is when now that we can talk about methods, we can talk about how we can clean this up as well. Okay, now you'll see the little green line underneath the say hello because guess what? We haven't created it yet. So let's create it up here. I generally like to put everything in alphabetical order. So normally I would put say hello after form 1. Do let's say the form 1 first, and any of those guys that are kind of, I want to call it global, but essentially bigger picture. Form 1, as you can see, initializing the entire form. But then if you look at, so button, compute, click actually is not in alphabetical order. And to be honest, I'm not going to do this in alphabetical order because sometimes you just need to rearrange it at the end. Here, I want you to be able to see the say hello, and then we're going to create the say hello from it. Now, just like in the past, we're going to use private void. Now, why are we going to use private void? Because it works, we're not going to return anything. In fact, that's what we'll do on the second one. So we already talked about the difference between returning and not returning. In this case, we're just going to do the method, and then it's going to come back, and then it's going to go to test 1. So it's going to go from line 38 up to line 23, and when it finishes this stuff, it's going to come back to line 40 and keep going. All right, so now that we're here, we have void, and remember, we're going to take the same shape as this. So we did our access modifier, we did our return type. So the next thing would be to give it a name, but we already gave it a name. We called it say hello. And then we're not going to see how there's nothing here. This is actually called arguments. Well, we'll come back and talk about that. Okay, so we got our name, and the last thing was going to be what are we passing into it? Well, if we look here, we're not passing anything into it. So whatever's in this generally has to mock whatever here, and we'll explain that more in the difference between values and parameters next. But in this case, we're going to just start that way. And now all of a sudden we have a method name and the parameters already labeled out, which in this case means we have none. And as soon as we create that scope, look at that, our green line, squiggly line doesn't go, turn away. So let's go ahead and just do a message box show, because I just like these for demonstration, even though they're irritating. From the user standpoint, and we're going to say hello all, put in parentheses. And of course, end it with our semicolon, we're done. You've just created your first method. So let's go ahead and run it and see what it does. So our grader project doesn't do anything that much different. So I can say compute. And there's that hello all, and then it will go back to our regular. Oh yeah, I forgot. We had this such that the compute button actually does something specific, and we haven't entered any grades into it yet. So maybe not the best idea at this point to run this. But the demonstration point of this is that the say hello actually did say hello, and then it went through and did the rest of the pieces. We're obviously going to have to do some error checking later, but right now I'm going to go back and we're going to say hello all. But hello all does not have to be saved only here. So if you remember a couple or quite a few lessons back, we talked about string literal. That's what this guy is. It's a string literal that is going to do exactly as it says. That's what's going to show. But we could pass that back. And we could do that by using the term return. So now we're returning hello all as opposed to making this method do it. Now notice there's a squiggly line here, and the reason being is that we have the word void here. Well, what are we passing back? Well, hello all is a string. So let's go ahead and put string there. That will help the return problem. But there is an issue here because it's taking hello all and sending it back to this line. So if I hit start and hit compute, it skips over that message. So we no longer get the hello all, right? And I'm going to stop it here to keep the piece. So it's not doing anything with that hello all. In order to use that hello all, we could say message box show, and then put parentheses around say hello. So now whatever gets sent back from the say hello method is going to get dropped right into here, and then it's going to should show it through the message box. So let's go ahead and hit start one more time, hit the compute, and our hello all is back. We're good. So you can do lots of things with this. You can set this equal to something. So I could do something to this effect. I could say that string Don, for lack of a better word, equals say hello, and this is totally kosher. Now the string Don will be set equal to hello all, and you can even you don't even have to pass back a string literal. So let me go back to this, and I could say in here string hello. And I'm using hello on purpose. Or actually, I'm going to say string title 2. Just to open up a dialogue about something we're going to talk about in just a little bit. And that is title 2 equals hello all. And I'm going to return title 2. And the reason why I show this is that we have two title 2s. We have a title 2, your average is found in a title 2 here. Well, which one does it take? Well, what happens here is some people would think that this title 2 is actually the same as this title 2, and it's actually not. So because we're talking again about scope, and remember with scope, if you live in the scope, you don't exist outside of the scope. So let's go ahead and hit start, and in this case it should pass the hello all back. So I'm going to hit compute, and it's going to do hello all. Now I could also do this, and I'm just going to copy and paste, and do title 2. And we know title 2 has been hello all, but it's not overwriting this title 2 because this title 2 is its own person. So in other words, if there are two neighborhoods and there are two girls named Lisa in each neighborhood, this is a totally different Lisa than this Lisa. So when I hit start and I hit compute, I'm going to get the hello all from the say hello still. But then when I hit OK, it's going to say your average is found because title 2 is your average is found. So even though they're both called title 2, they're two distinct strings. Make sense? Well, I hope so. we will go and do this, do more of this later. If we wanted to overwrite this, again, we would have to do something to the nature of title 2 equals say hello. And now it should, this will overwrite the your average is found with the hello all, because we're taking this Lisa and replacing our poor Lisa here with the Lisa from the say hello neighborhood. So let's go ahead and do this. So then we hit compute and hello all is being showed up in the title 2. By having this return, this gives us a little bit of idea how we pass stuff in and out of the method. That passes it, return passes it out of the method. In the next video, we're going to talk about passing it into the method. Thank you.